Greetings YouTube, welcome back to my sketchbook. Here we go with a geometric mace which is mostly wood and has banding, and it has large metal points that are screwed in place. You can see here they actually have threaded tapering screws that were used, and it's a stepped design, so it has a very geometric pattern. A pommel that has a loop so you could hold it on something. Hang it from something. Here we have a combat hammer tool, so you can strike things here. This is a nail puller. This is the cross section. It's an I-beam design. Then you have a pry bar or screwdriver, and then you have a hole for a lanyard or hanging it up. My battery's dying, so this video cuts off short. You'll know why. Here we have different sizes of comparison for spears. We have a short spear, can be used as throwing. We have a larger spear, which is the kind of a traditional spear that can be used for throwing as well, though not as much of a range. And then we have a fully fledged polearm of a glaive. And I did that intentionally. I believe it was for a friend of mine who asked me for some comparisons. Here we have a sword, which is, I think, simple enough and elegant enough that it would work in the real world. I really do. I think that would be a functional weapon. I was quite happy with that design. Here we go with a design which is a trident, but the blade's on the inside, so it's all about trying to get this at an opponent's limbs or things like that. And then it's got a heavier blade here. This is designed as a battle staff. Here we have a Dwarven weapon designed for slashing, for piercing, for heavy getting through armor, and then it's got a blade on this end, so it's kind of playing off the Dwarven Urgosh concept. Here we have a weird throwing steel, which is all about being vaguely Chinese looking, Asian looking, but it's also a hashtag, so I guess you could call this the hashtag shuriken, though the hashtags weren't a thing when I did this. I think I did this back in 09. Is the date on here? I don't see a date. Oh, here it is. Is it? Yeah, 09. And here we go with an unusual polearm. It's based on a halberd, so you have points and axe, and then it's got a cup here and another point down here. So this is designed for in-close work, and hopefully your enemy's not going to slide down to be able to hit your hand. So this is designed as a protective device. And I think I may have seen this from some real-world device, but I'm not positive. Here we have a really heavy spear. Also could probably be considered a two-handed sword. I like the proportions on this. I think this came really nice, and that's a lovely shape. That really is. I think I nailed that shape. That's a great blade shape. Here we have an over-the-top double-bitted axe, which is just silly. Okay, I'm not sure why I did it, but it's just way too big. Make no bones about that. Here we have a polearm, which is a Asian military fork, kind of the frog crotch arrow concept there. I think it would work. I think it would be cool, and also useful for catching your enemy's limbs and or weapons. Here we have a geometric mace, and here you have a nut, because this whole shaft is round, and there's a rod going down the center, which is holding the whole thing together, because this is one piece of wood, this octagonal shaped piece of wood, and then you have the shaft, which is attached, and this is a separate plate. So this whole thing is bolted together. I don't know why I decided to be that detailed. That's how I did it. So you have a plate up there, a plate here, and the whole thing is bolted together on a threaded rod, or a rod that has threads on both ends. Threading the whole rod would probably be kind of pointless now, wouldn't it? Here we have another bladed axe, and I think I failed on this one. It's a little on the silly side. But frankly, I could see some kind of weird demon or bad guy wielding that. Here we are going with a great axe, and I decided to go through two kinds of almost glaive-like blades and then a point in the center. Proportions are a little wrong. It's a little too chunky, but I don't think it fails completely. Here we have a hand axe, which is based on a real-world kind of tool design. So this is a diamond-shaped shaft. You'll find that in some hammers and axes in the real world. Then you have the axe head, the back spike, and a somewhat realistic looking handle. So I think this would work quite nicely as a tool and a weapon. Kind of makes me think of something coming out of the East Wing Company. Here we have an over-the-top battle axe, all blade, chopped. The proportions are wrong. It's by the way, it is a full tang design, so these are scales that's on the outside. This is not going to be a light weapon in the least. Here we have another hand weapon, a hand steel, and I think I don't know if I got that right. It might work. It might be too big. I'm not sure. Check my time. Okay. Here we have another double weapon, which makes me think of science fiction things. I'm not sure, but it makes me think of science fiction things. Actually, I think I know why. Because I think I was inspired by the Predator 2 film to make this. I think that's what I was inspired by in that one. Here we have an axe, which is all round. Pure round. And I kind of like that idea. And these are two weights which are riveted in place, so that gives it some more depth and some more weight. I kind of like that idea just to be different. Here we go with a chisel ground stinger style bladed knuckle duster. So you wear this, your two fingers, these two fingers would fit in here. And this is a 1-to-1 scale. This is actually what the size the thing would be. And remember, this gridded here is 10 squares per inch, so if you look at this, you can get an exact size idea of what that size is. Here we have a heavy chopping weapon, which probably fall into the category of a great sword or something like that, or even a great axe. And I kind of like the way that one came out. I do. I think I did a good job with that. I like the proportions, and I like the angles. Here we go with another kind of an exotic battle axe. Double bitted. I don't mind this one so much. Yeah, it's over the top in its size, but I kind of like the way it came out. Here we go with a double weapon. So you have a blade here that you can slash with, and you have a hook down here which is designed specifically for piercing and for catching someone. I think I had a little story behind this one. I can't remember what it was. I don't remember what it's called. Here we go with another heavy spear with side blades, so it's kind of a vague halberd-like vibe there. I think that would work. The proportions aren't too bad. Then again, I put holes in it. I'm not sure why I put holes in it. Here we go with a great axe, or even this is actually a double weapon. So you have a great axe down here, and then you have another conical. Actually, this is a square point on this one, so it uses a weight, or potentially even thrust against someone. So this is a square weight on this end. Don't know why I did that. It's kind of cool. Here we have a great axe that's based very similar on the last one, opening up the whole idea to being 3 separate blades, and then the same square weight on this end. So these are all battle stabs of one variety or another. Here we have a dagger with this is open here, and this is like a solid cross section of circular that is hammered down into meeting with this. So the whole thing is this actually probably be plates that go here. So this is probably a full tang design with these attached on the outside. Yeah, that's how I would do that now. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's supposed to be a gem or not, but it's kind of silly. Here we go with a hand-and-a-half sword that's kind of vaguely Kopeshi-like, but Kopeshi. But a nice slashing sword nonetheless. Here we go with a version of a rifle stock Native American club with 4 steel blades, and I think that would be quite effective. Here we go with the similar idea, but taken to the battle staff theme. So you've got 3 blades here, and then a big pointed blade here. So this could be used as a 2-ended weapon. And again, my battle staff are defined as a double-ended weapon that has 2 dissimilar ends. And here we go with the similar blade on this end, but I went with a trident on this end. So I think that's kind of interesting. Here we go with 2 different versions of the same weapon, and in this case, both of the blades face in the same direction. In this case, they face in opposite directions. And I thought that was kind of interesting to show the slight difference, and it would probably be a considerably different method of using it in combat. Here we have a sword that this is the cutting edge. This back here is not, and I just kind of like that look. Adding a little extra weight up here for added impact when it comes to slashing. Here we go with a great spear, which has nice stops here. I kind of like that. And here we have a double weapon. So you have a large kind of vaguely leaf-shaped piercing blade on that end, and on this end we have a slashing blade, vaguely reminiscent of the Lurpa from Star Trek. I kind of like this one. I think that would be quite effective, and I could see a school of martial arts being built around it.